All right, I don't have a theme song set up. So, Andrew, do you want to sing something or?
Let's see here. No, I've got nothing.
Okay,
I got one.
I can't do this. Oh yeah, go Whitney.
Yeah, Whitney, sing our theme song.
Na 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 na. Dun ch, dun ch, dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun.
Hey everybody, thank you for checking out our first episode. This is Pexin with the Legends. This is an Apex Legends fan podcast. We'll do some quick introductions. My name is Eric. I'm a livestream news editor for TheGamer, and I'm a Wraith main, even though I know Pathfinder is better. Whitney?
I am Whitney, and I am an Apex Legends fangirl, and I also write for TheGamer, and I stream on Twitch and on Facebook for TheGamer as well.
And I'm Andrew, completing this trio, this Apex trio, also an editor and writer for TheGamer.com. And I usually main Wraith as well, though I played Watson as well in competitive. So, you know, I like to play everybody out there.
So yeah, I'm character agnostic, although I don't really use Revenant all that much. But maybe that will change since he's been buffed. I just haven't gotten really used to it quite yet.
Yeah, maybe. Well, we're all big Apex fans. We've been wanting to do something like this for a while. The reason we decided to start this podcast now, first of all, we all stream Apex all the time, both on the Gamer Facebook gaming live stream page and on our own individual Twitch pages. But we found out that when we get together and we play the game together, we have so much fun just talking about not just the gameplay updates, but the lore and the story stuff too. So with Season 5 coming out, and that's what we want to talk about today, the developers are doing so much to bring the lore and the story stuff to the forefront every single week, and that's going to keep developing throughout the season, and we wanted to be there to talk about it as things unfold throughout Season 5, Fortune's Favor, I think. Is that what it's called?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah.
Fortune's Favor.
Yeah, so this is a pre-Season 5 podcast. We're going to talk about everything that's come out so far, all the teasers and trailers and stuff for the new characters and the changes coming in Season 5. And then after that, we'll just be doing a podcast every week to talk about all of the story updates and stuff that happen every week. So we'll get into that first trailer, unless you guys have something you want to add to that.
Nothing except for that I'm super excited, and all the things they're adding in Season 5 seem like they're more than they've ever added before for a new season. So.
Right.
Very glad that Forge is going to be the new legend.
Yeah, really looking forward to Forge. Okay, so we have 3 bits of content that have released over the last, I think, just a week. We've gotten all 3 of those. The first of which was our introduction to the newest character, so we're gonna watch it.
My world was shattered that day, and my path was now a fog of unknowns. The system tried to erase the tragedy, but some wounds are too deep to ever truly heal. I've always felt it in my blood. I am a thief, and a good one at that. It was the only way I felt true to myself. And those same feelings grew into opportunity. I honed my skills and enhanced my methods. With success came wealth, power, and friendship. I was the best, and everyone knew it. But something was always missing, until now. There we are. I'm off to bed.
Wait, I found him.
What? What are you talking about?
I found him.
This is sort of the first time we've seen a character so directly connected to another character that I can think of.
Yeah, definitely intertwined fates with Revenant, considering Revenant, spoiler alert, assassinated her parents in a previous lore video.
Right. Yeah. So that starts out with Loba as a little girl, and that ties directly into Revenant's reveal. So I guess first question is just sort of what are your impressions of Loba just from that trailer?
At first I was like, okay, why is she talking about herself in the past tense? So what we're learning here is that, some big change happened. There's some shift. She says, okay, this is something more that I want. And then we sort of go through the transition and we realize that like her friend who I don't think that we've identified that person, but has found this. But one other thing that stood out to me that I just kind of like heard is that she had mentioned the system. And if you'll remember, there's another legend that was also, I think, part of a system, which is Crypto. Because isn't the woman that he's friends with his adopted sister, right? And I don't know if I like remember exactly what happened, but I wonder if like there's some connection because her buddy was also able to hack into some system to find this
Right.
sister, and he also had some access to the game. So I'm wondering if we might see some sort of overlap between the two of them at some point.
Yeah, that's a good point. Watching this again, that character stood out to me more because they're unnamed and it's just like Loba's friend, who is another hacker, and we have hackers, and it seemed at first like it was maybe just a throwaway character, but maybe as this plot unfolds that we're going to learn more about who that person is too.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you brought up too. I didn't even think about it, like how that could be tied together, because otherwise it would seem like it's just your typical hacker man, in two trailers, almost, well, not back to back, but very, connected to each other, same game, same universe. They've got to turn into people later down the road. I think his identity has been revealed though. That's Ninja. He's got the blue hair. It's him. He's streaming, and he found Revenant while he was streaming.
Yeah.
On Mixer.
I also think too that it's worth noting, like, there was a lot of hype around this character, and unfortunately, some of the information was leaked, I think, before it should have. But if you
always
known that, yeah. But if you hadn't known that and you were just coming in this, so all you see at the end of the last one is this little girl that they sort of insinuate something's going to happen, and then how that's like a very cool storytelling device that, like, a few months later they come here and say, well, who is that person? And the way that they like sort of reveal, okay, now that person is out, for revenge. And I don't know if this is a storyline that's going to take us through, a couple of more seasons, or if it's a storyline that's really going to take us all the way through to the end.
Right.
There's a lot of characters here, and they've really focused a lot on these two without really giving much more thought to like what is happening to Wraith, what is happening to Crypto, or even before those, like we don't know all that much about Bangalore's background, right?
Sure, yeah.
We know a little bit about Gibby, so it's going to be really interesting to see sort of how all these stories come together, especially given the fact that they're focusing so much on this linear story right now.
Right. I think there's a lot of ways that you can compare Apex's style of storytelling to Overwatch. The games have similarities. They're both heroes with a very small kit, and we get their backstories as characters are introduced. But one thing I really appreciate about Apex storytelling compared to Overwatch is the way that the story is always moving forward and impacting the game. In Overwatch, there is a lot of story that comes out of comic books and cinematics and stuff, but it's always in the past. It's always stuff that happened a long time ago. But with Apex, when things happen and new characters come in, the world of the game changes, and it feels like things are always moving forward with Apex. So It's really exciting when a new character comes in, because as we'll see in the next trailer, Loba, it doesn't just show up. She has a huge impact on the world of the game, too. So
yeah.
Should we watch that next one?
Yeah, let's jump into it.
Game over, Tin Can.
Caught in the middle of your way. Now
demonio. Go back to hell.
Come to kill me, little girl?
Someday. But for now,
It
I got
gives me
chills.
again.
Yeah,
Again.
I
I've seen
know.
it 4 times, 5 times, something like that. It is just so good.
It's got to be
I
the
mean,
best cinematic they've done, for sure.
Yeah.
yeah. And you really feel attached to these characters. Like, I feel like you're like with like this. You want that revenge for her.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that we like want like everyone to go around and murder everybody, I guess. Or maybe that is what we want. But yeah, I like this. Obviously, like first there's a story along, and we can talk about some of the abilities there. But I remember when we first saw this, one of the first things I noticed was like, oh wow, they're going against the Reapers. I just played Titanfall 2 last night, getting ready for this, and I sort of started seeing like all the connections. But you know, the Reapers play a role in the Titanfall universe. They're sort of the quote bad guys, bad characters. And you have to take them down. And to see them there, that was the sort of indication that, oh, this season may bring some kind of a PvE mode, right? A really active one. And we saw the beginnings of that. We saw like the Bloodhound area with the new thing that they were doing. We've seen that you can kill the flyers. But it'll be really interesting because I knew, like, we understood that what they were showing is that PvE would have some kind of a stronger role moving forward. So yeah.
Yeah, and there has definitely been a really cool build up to that. You know, whether it was them seeing how well it works or just slowly implementing the idea of it. I think that the way that it seems is that with season 5 we're going to have some really strong, consistent PvE elements, more than just, oh, if you land here you can fight some AI.
Right.
It's like it looks like a total PvE mode with the hunts, but we'll get into that. Yeah, well, like you said, there's a lot to unpack in this trailer. We got an idea of her abilities, her teleporting. What do you guys think about the idea of a legend being able to teleport around?
Yeah, she seems built on mobility, and that's something that I'm super interested in. I've always loved characters that have a lot of what I'd call outplay potential, and that you can, if you master the skills of that particular legend, you can kill people in really creative and flashy ways. And I'm curious as to how her abilities will interact with a team. More on her ultimate later, but it seems like her abilities are pretty inward when it comes to teleporting around.
Yeah,
which again, I'm just really interested in. She just looks like a blast to play. So
for sure.
We sort of like watch that she walks in with this light, so that sort of gives you an idea that she's maybe illuminating something. So I don't really know exactly what that means.
Illuminating
but
the
as
truth.
Yeah, that too.
in a general
She
sense,
still has a way to go to find that though. And for all these characters, there's so much out there.
Yeah.
But you know, and I thought that was really cool. I already mentioned the Reapers. We saw that she's over there going after Revenant. And we also saw there something that was really interesting in the background, is that wasn't one Revenant. It was lots and lots of bodies of Revenants, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you can sort of try to figure out what that is. Is there like an army? Are they building armies of like this terrible murder killing beast underground?
Yeah,
Like,
we know Hammond Robotics is definitely up to something diabolical. They seem to be they have a growing presence with every season. They are the ones who own the Planet Harvester. They're obviously producing an army of assassins using Revenant's skeleton. And I think they're obviously going to play a huge role in the upcoming season too. And they seem to be undertaking the role of the antagonists, though it's not,
Sure.
super clear.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to interpret. Obviously Revenant is a android robotic character, so it's not that surprising that he has a way to maybe transfer consciousness from one body to the next. But on the other hand, could those just be more Revenants? Or like Whitney said, is this like an army of Revenants being produced for something? So, but from a gameplay point of view, it could be used to explain how he can die in the game and keep coming back into the game. Something that's I think I've mentioned before to you guys is kind of troubling to me, that these characters never seem to die in this game, in this battle to the death. Right?
When I play Apex Legends, I always die as a character. So I don't know if that's playing a part in the story or not.
Sure.
I mean, I think that. Well, I was just going to say that if the writers have done one thing, they've been able to justify everything very, very well. And like, even if they don't do it for 2 or 3 seasons down the road. So I do think we're going to get a little bit more insight into what's really happening behind the games, because they build it to us like it's some kind of Olympics that's happening, basically. Yeah. But we sort of start to understand that there's something, much more nefarious at the center. And now it's just a matter of trying to figure out what exactly that is.
Right.
Yeah, and as a side note, shout out to the animation teams that have been working on these trailers, because the animations look fantastic.
Incredible.
They're so good.
in both trailers. And I actually like that they're not using gameplay footage, because it really feels super cinematic and handcrafted every time one of these stories and trailers comes out.
Yeah.
And I like that they're revealing lore in a sort of creative medium like animation.
Right.
And I nerd out. I love it. It's cool.
That song too.
Yeah.
That's not like a popular song or anything. That was like written for this, I would suspect.
Yeah, I was unfamiliar with it until I heard it there. So but I didn't do my research or anything. But yeah, it was effective in the trailer, without a doubt.
Wait, if I can just call out like a few more things that we're seeing there. Maybe this is what you're about to say, but like we did notice that she was under Skulltown.
Right.
At the end of that cinematic, when we're seeing like her like sort of teleportation, and at one point she puts up like the like a little diamond looking thing that sort of seems to steal a gun away from one of the robots. But then we also sort of see when she emerges back up that Skulltown is underwater.
Yeah.
That's like the dinosaur bones at Skulltown, and they're gone. And that's crazy because Skulltown is a very, very popular sound to drop.
Yeah. Yeah, you can pretty much guarantee if you land in Skulltown, you're going to have a fight immediately. In any game, no matter where the flight path is, right?
Yeah.
So, and now it'll guarantee a watery grave. Instead of it looks like.
So I think, besides getting a little taste of what Loba's skills are, just the hint that Skulltown is gone is probably the biggest thing to come out of the second trailer.
The one thing that I'll tell you from having like reviewed some of these for the gamer is that there is so much detail in these things that some people won't even put together until the season is over. And they'll say, oh my gosh, they told us exactly what was going to happen in the trailer. Yeah. That's what I noticed for sure.
Yeah, we also saw we kind of saw it in the first animatic, but this one she has this bow staff that she's fighting guys with. Does that seem like something that would be a cool heirloom weapon?
I want it to be the heirloom so bad. I think it's so stylish. It's awesome. There's so many cool animations they could make for an heirloom for Loba with that staff. It looked like it's already part of her base animation, though. Well, I guess we'll get to that.
Yeah. Should we get to that now?
Yeah, let's jump into it. Why
okay, so our last trailer was just from a couple days ago, and this is our gameplay reveal trailer.
Dark in the city, night is a white. Steam in the subway, earth is afire.
Well, I guess this party is going to last a bit longer than I had hoped. quest for the broken ghost has begun.
In touch with the ground, I'm on the hunt, I'm after you.
I need your help adding a rare and valuable treasure to my collection. Just be careful. And don't die.
Here we go again.
Stalked in the forest, too close to hide. I'll be upon you by the moonlight side.
Treasure pack here.
And I'm hungry like the wolf.
You want advice? Shoot first.
I'm hungry like the wolf.
Open in disguise.
Shop's open for business. You should smile more.
I'm hungry like the wolf.
Crazy.
Gosh.
So
Gosh.
there's so much going on here. So I'm going to keep the video up so we can kind of scrub through some certain parts and maybe take it
Alright.
scene by scene a little bit.
All right. Even
There's
just
a lot
here,
to unpack.
I'm going to start and say I just love her character design. I just love the voice. I just love how she looks.
Yeah.
She just, oh my gosh.
She's so cool.
Cosplayers are going to go crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to
True.
learn how to braid my hair.
I'll help you with it. Don't worry.
Yeah, so she looks fantastic for sure. And I could see so many different types of skins. So here we go. Here's this is definitely the Skulltown side.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, yeah, because you can see the Octane jump skate park, as we call it, in the background there.
So if that survived, that means that we lost both Thunderdome and Skulltown,
yeah.
as well as those two little towns that were on either side of Thunderdome.
Yeah, looks like it. It's all gone.
Yes.
And the biggest question for me, and of course with this opening shot, they confirmed what they had already hinted at with the last trailer because they submerged under Skulltown to show that lab.
Yeah.
But the biggest question to me, I don't know if you two have thought about this, is it playable down there at all? Because
there's a balloon.
You can see it.
There's
Yeah,
a balloon
exactly.
right
The
here.
balloon's submerged. And I'm like, is that for aesthetic or is it actually playable? And there's two zip lines from either side of the gap that meet the top of the balloon if you
Could-
look at it closely.
Could it be that you start on the balloon under, like, in a space underwater and go through the water and out?
Yeah, that they have a lot of creative potential here, and I
Yeah.
really hope that parts of it are playable because that'd be so
I like
cool.
pool party in Skulltown. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
New hashtag.
These aren't bins. I don't think these are bins down here, but yeah, I don't know. But also, do you think it's safe to assume that water treatment back here is still there?
It
I-
looks like it.
Yeah, I don't. To me, this doesn't look like it goes quite as far over because if you look at the thing that's like sort of, it's hard for me to explain, but like on the right, there's like the balloon, and then like
Yeah.
kind of to the right of that, I think that's over by like that town that's next to Market.
Mhm.
Yeah.
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 So you can kind of see what your line of sight is here, and then you sort of still have that little like village that's next to you on your right here, and then it goes all the way over to water treatment.
So the line was kind of the bones, in a way, like it.
yeah, like it went.
Mhm.
Yeah, it just went all along the bones and just dropped them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But does it make the map a lot smaller?
Well,
I guess it
if that
depends on
area is
what's underground.
playable. Yeah, yeah,
Well,
right.
yeah, how big is the underground, you know?
Right.
Well,
so
I want to. Can we pause about the underground too? I just want to say, oh, also Kings Canyon at night. So we're going back there, maybe. All right. Anyway, I do want to say that this sort of past lore is implied that I don't remember exactly what it was. I want to say maybe it was in Race video that the lab where the Wraith Tunnel Zone, it said at one point that the lab was much bigger than she anticipated or something like that, right?
Right.
So it's entirely possible. I think it'd be a stretch to say that those two areas are connected, but I do think that this could be substantially sized.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so now we jump into night. We're in slums. Not much to go off here. Okay,
Yeah, quick note about
what's this?
This is the hatch from Lost. Have you seen Lost?
Yeah, this is season 2 of Lost.
So Hurley is actually down there.
Actually, I can tell one piece of lore from this. Not lore, but I just played Titanfall 2, and they do have like the little drop vents like this that you can go through, and it's actually like a big part of the gameplay. But anyway, not a big part, but it's part of it.
So is this a good time to talk about the hunts and the vaults?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up because they revealed on their most recent update that the nighttime is for the hunt.
Right.
So every hunt's beginning on May 19th, which is a Tuesday, and they'll happen weekly. You'll be playing on Kings Canyon at night, and it'll be PvE. You can play solo or with a squad. If you play solo, you get more respawns, so it kind of balances it out. But you'll be playing to secure an item, supposedly one of the 9 pieces to, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but an item, and then you'll evacuate, and you sort of have to survive against the elements. Really, what they implied to just be a bunch of prowlers, which are the bloodhound.
That's what we see in the trailer. Yeah, is fighting a bunch of prowlers, and I kind of suspected at first it would be like the robot guys, like in that last trailer, right? But from this gameplay trailer, we just see a lot of the dogs. I think that's what comes up next. So yeah, so those are going to be weekly PvE missions, which is really exciting. So there we go.
And have we got, because it's not still pulled up on my screen, have we gotten to the part where it says the name of the quest? It's called The Broken Ghost.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say, somebody brought this to my attention. I kind of like shrugged it off, but now that I've just watched all these back to back, I'm wondering if the Broken Ghost is just very specifically pointing at what she was trying to get when she like pointed the gun and shot at Revenant's head. Like that's the sort of ghost spirit, right? But she's broken it by taking the shots at it, right? I don't know, but I feel like it's entirely possible that that is the most valuable thing that she's looking for. See, this is one of the things, if that ends up being true, it's one of those very, very obvious things that you don't see until later. Anyway.
So okay, to reiterate, so the loop is that you're playing the game just like normal, whatever playlist you want, competitive or just regular. And while you're playing the game and looting and opening bins, you'll find, what is it? Is it a contract? Or
treasure, they're called treasure chests, I believe. Treasure pack.
I think they showed a
it's the treasure pack is what it's called.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what pops out of that crate. That's sort of the special looking box. You can get treasure packs now.
So you can find those once a day. You'll find one every day when you play, if you play enough. And every 5, the 5th one you find will unlock the quest for that week. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
That sounds right. I just know you can get the weekly quest from those treasure packs.
Right. So you need to play every day. Well, you can miss 2 days a week. You have to play at least 5 days a week because you can only get one of these a day, and you have to get 5 of them to unlock the quest. And there's going to be 9 quests, 9 of these PvE missions that will be spread out over the 9 weeks of the season.
Correct. And if you fall behind, that's the treasure pack. If you fall behind on these daily treasure packs, there's one option, which is to buy them with Apex coins.
Yeah, and I think it was like 25 coins for one of them.
Yeah, super cheap.
Yeah, so even if you had to buy all 45, it would only be like $15 or something.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of their skins.
I just wanted to say, like, in the trailer here, you can usually see some Battle Pass skins and cosmetics that'll be available throughout the season. I really, really like that Revenant one on the right, the Pharaoh or whatever that is, the Dutch Pharaoh.
Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah, and the Wingman skin. I want the Wingman skin so bad.
Did we see that, or is that coming up?
Yeah, it's coming up, I think, in a couple seconons from where you're at.
Because
Mirage is wielding it.
Oh, okay. Mirage has it there. Here we have Bangalore with her Karen haircut.
Yeah, that's everyone's been saying. I think he looks pretty slick, but
okay, so there's the Wingman.
Yeah,
it's like a Rolex watch.
It's so good.
I want it. So I hope it's not the full max battle pass. It probably is.
It has to be, because it's one of the like transforming, right?
It's so cool. Yeah, don't tell me
Yeah.
that because it's gonna take so long to get. Oh, I'm gonna
That's a
grind this
great
so
skin.
much.
Okay, so so we have this like excavator, and it's actually going to be pulling the bones out, literally pulling Skull out of Skull Town, right? So
And it's kind of an homage because they did have a lot of cranes in Titanfall 2 when I was playing.
Oh,
There's like
yeah,
a whole
that-
zone, like
that whole last mission.
Yeah.
Good
You
point.
remember.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a new little small zone that we'll find where Skull Town was. And then that's just Octane over there, right?
Yeah, Gauntlet's over there. Yeah.
Yeah. So we still can't really see water treatment, but it seems safe that it hasn't changed. Seems likely it hasn't changed. What's this little building here on the edge of the screen?
It's probably a new building because around there, I don't know how to actually describe it, but there shouldn't have been building. I would guess it's a new facility.
This one down here at the bottom of the screen and this over here, this is all changed too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, whoa. That's an important one. So this is the other big change that we didn't see coming, right? This is
array.
This is the array. The northeast side of the map has been completely redone. And why? What could the story reason be for that?
It's a good question. I wonder. I really don't know.
I've been thinking a lot about these pipes that look like they now run across the map. Like maybe they're like draining Skull Town. And this
that would make sense.
This is like the pump that drains it out or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what? It connects to that massive structure that we saw Gibraltar use to, what I believe at least, to insta-charge his ultimate ability. It looks like if you interact with it, you can insta-charge an ultimate ability. And so maybe it has something to do with hydroelectric power. I don't even know if that's a type of power. But, it's by the water. It sounds fancy, and they could write some pseudoscience in to make that work in the lore. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. The whole Kings Canyon is not just a battlefield. We know that it's also generating energy or producing something. Like they're always doing business on these maps, aside from just having battles there, right?
And we have to recognize too that's the planet harvester's role as well. Like that's the reason is that it was like an environmental. I'm sorry, it was like a power source thing, and it says, well, we'll just ruin the local environment because we need all this energy to power whatever this is. And I think that there's a lore piece that hints to whatever that is, but that's too far down the rabbit hole for me right now.
Yeah. So from here we can see that we now have a bridge that's going to go to is that airbase?
Can't be.
No. What's the north zone called? I'm slipping.
Artillery.
Artillery. Yeah.
Well, realistically, yeah.
Was it really that close?
Well, repulsor. Well, this is like where repulsor maybe would have been. It's hard to tell, but that is definitely swamps ahead of us. And then there was always that little area that was like north of that, and then repulsor. Right? Is that what I'm thinking of? Like
array.
No, it begins with an R. It's on the upper right hand. Like I can see it on the map, but like I don't like have it. Relay. Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of. Right?
Yeah. This is relay.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I called it array mistakenly. I think I meant relay.
Yeah, this is relay now, and then this bridge goes to artillery.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Just like the bridge down over here that goes between
swamps, or
wow, I'm slipping on the names of places, but
interestingly, it is an interesting choice to me because Skulltown was a popular drop zone, and I remember if you would drop at a place like this, at least very, very early on, it would be like a quieter area of the map. So if like you just wanted to win, so I like that they're like, well, we're just going to add a lot of action here, and maybe we can take sort of this and sort of spread it out so there's not just one single drop place that everybody drops all the time. Although, the people who are just in it for those easy kills off drop are never going to change where they choose to drop. It'll probably just be like Capital. Once they chose Capital, it was that way, even if it was divided.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so we can see these tubes, they run towards the center of the map, and it looks like they all end here. Can we tell where this is supposed to be?
I
That's
have
a good-
no clue.
Well, there's the Wraith. That's the Wraith portal zone behind it, right? I
Right.
forget what that's called.
So
the
this
lab.
is
Lab.
just like that whole no man's land area that's all
Yeah.
like cliffs.
That's
and-
where I think it is
Oh,
exactly.
yeah.
If everyone knows what we're talking about, that no man's
that
it was
big-
like sort of barren. Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Okay. So
And
I
that'd
don't.
be a cool
Yeah,
place for
I
that.
don't know what this is what's supposed to be happening here. It's interesting how it looks like it quickly came together because you've got these hoses just sort of running over all the architecture.
Mhm,
You know?
This is actually a water park.
Yeah, these are slides. Okay, so this is what you were
that's
talking about.
interesting.
Mhm.
It's got like an axis here, and it looks like it charges as alt.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. 'Cause
Yeah,
you-
because you see his. Do you see it go from 0 to full? Or what?
I don't think we catch that, but it does the
I think it
Yeah.
does.
it
I
does
think
the
it's
animation.
0.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it's done animation. So
Yeah.
That would make sense, if the ultimate accelerant works, then a power source in the middle of the map would also work to charge your ult, right?
yeah, it seems pretty likely that's what
Oh,
that does.
there we go. Now we see the ability in action.
Okay,
So the head of her cane is what she throws down to.
and this is clearly her alt, right? Because we know that her tactical is her teleport.
Mhm.
Right.
So this is her ultimate ability. And do you guys have speculation of what exactly is happening here?
Seems like some sort of. I just assumed it was a shop or something where you could get ammo and supplies.
Yeah,
of
she
some
just
sort.
pulled something out of there, right?
So
Yeah.
so we do have leaks that hint about what this is. So if the leaks are to be believed, what this does is it creates a radius in the area, and all the loot in the area can be pulled out of it.
Oh, and that would explain the other ability too, because I was like,
Oh.
how would that fit in? That explains how it fits in. It's part of that.
Yeah.
ability.
So if there's death boxes or even capsules or anything within, I don't know how big the area will be,
That's
but
powerful.
but anyone who loots
Yeah.
this will be able to access that stuff.
Wow. So you can throw a Gibraltar I'm sorry, a dome shield.
Hmm.
well, Gibraltar on top, but if there's already a kill thing, the death box and everything comes there and you're set, you're got 20 seconds to loot without getting shot.
It's interesting. Yeah. It seems like it's definitely going to be a time saver, right? Because you walk into an area and you see death boxes all over the place. Now you can just turn them all into one big death box and everybody can just go through it. But
yeah, that's actually crazy.
If that's true, yeah. But it also brings your team all around this big glowing object. Like you've never been easier
Moth to a
targets.
flame.
Yeah, yeah.
Literally.
And I for one am always struggling with scrolling through the list of a death box and clicking everything out of it that I want.
Yeah, yeah.
If this ends up being 10 death boxes all in one, it might get people to stand there for a while searching through it. So
That's going to be notoriously difficult for controller players who cannot move while looting.
right, right, yeah. Okay. So I was just
Go
gonna
for it.
say we have the vault in the actual map, not just in a nighttime mission. Like the vaults will be so, and we know this location. I think we kind of got an. Let's see it again. Where are they?
We're ziplining past that tall. The thing on the right is familiar.
So I took this as by where Skull Tom was. Oh, okay. So there's finally I have my answer about water treatment.
You were so worried about water treatment.
Yeah. So so this is over where Skull Town was, and we have vaults actually on the map now.
Look at that.
Yeah, and it looks like Andrew was probably right. If that vault behind them is open, see, you can probably look. There's a zip line on it too. You can go down there and access the labs and stuff underneath Skull Town.
Yeah.
So we
definitely will be playable.
Have not seen inside there yet, and then of course we have them jumping off.
Which is so cool because clearly you can go outside here and do something. You
Well,
can go back up.
This is it. This is the lab under Skull Town, so she's
Yeah.
teleporting right into it. So one thing I wanted to point out about her teleport, we'll watch the whole thing. It has a significant cooldown.
Oh, you can see the cooldown?
Well, just watch the animation. Here, I'll play it again.
Oh, you just mean
Not. I'm sorry, not a cooldown, a recovery.
Yeah, okay. I see what you're saying.
If
But
this
hey,
is real
at least-
gameplay.
Yeah, you're
Mhm.
totally
She
right.
comes out, it flips around, she grabs it, she puts it back on her wrist. That's a good second and
Way
a
to
half
balance it.
when you come out of a teleport. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the cooldown too, whether or not that's going to be practical. But I will say the animation's slick. It looks awesome.
Oh, yeah, the animation's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
They've really done an incredible job with this game. Like just all the I mean, again, it's like I feel like I've watched games that have way, way more money and stuff sunk into them that just don't get me as excited as a new season of Apex.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. Especially this season. I'm really excited that they're clearly focused on getting people to come back and play the game every day, right? Because you have to log in and you have to find that treasure if you want to be able to do that hunt every week. And there's going to be a hunt every week for 9 weeks. So it's if the dailies didn't keep you coming back, which I know for me personally, that wasn't always enough, especially when you hit that soft cap of that like 45,000K experience or whatever, where you just know you're not going to get any more levels that week. Like coming back to do the dailies wasn't really enough, but coming back to get that treasure, because they said that you get something every time you find that treasure, even if it's not even if it doesn't unlock that PvE mission, right? You're going to get experience or something.
Yeah. I can find it super fast, but there's multiple things you can get out of there, and they're all like stuff that we want, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, crafting medals, battle pass XP, Apex packs, or access to the hunt for the week.
Yeah.
So
So
a bunch of good stuff.
So there's 45 of those throughout the season. And if you can get packs and crafting materials and all kinds of stuff like that out of them, that for me is enough to come back and at least play a few games until I find it every day.
Yeah, agreed.
Way better incentive than, play your 2 games and get your 3 submachine gun kills for 400
knockdowns
XP.
at Dome.
Yeah.
3 knockdowns at Dome.
Yeah. So, okay, is there anything else that I mean, that was a lot. There's a lot going on for season 5, and we haven't even gotten to play it yet.
Well, and the other thing that I would say too is if like who knows what changes are going to be on World's Edge. World's Edge. It's the other map. Like if there are any, or if we're seeing the same thing. It went through some major transitions just at the beginning of last season.
Right.
But I feel like every season, like sometimes I'll make changes in the middle of them. Like I think Octane's Gauntlet was like a mid-season addition. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any changes or any relationship on that map or what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Gauntlet, and then last season, like you said, it had that big transition where it got split with the Harvester, and then later in the season, it got the Bloodhound event, which was a totally new area. So I think we can expect that what we've seen isn't all for this season for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and I hope that's the case too, because I will say there's a bit of foreshadowing that it's going to be like hellfire from the pro community if they take out World's Edge for the season, because they highly prefer to play on World's Edge over Kings Canyon for competitive. The consensus is that both the maps they're fun, they're great, but for competitive, the loot tables on Kings Canyon seem to be a lot more sparse. And professionals very often vocalize that they don't like playing Kings Canyon for competitive tournament.
Yeah.
So,
do you think I wanted to ask about that because the other day I was sort of comparing with my friends the differences between the 2 maps, and it seemed to us like Kings Canyon is, for lack of a better term, just a much more open map. It's much easier to not just see long distances, but to get to different places faster. Whereas,
I agree with that.
Yeah, on the other map, everything is so segmented off. You have small zones, big walls.
Yeah.
So
a lot of places you can stake out territory and kind of, hold your ground, things like that.
Yeah. So that could be part of why the pros like that better, right?
Definitely. I think it's a big part of it. And that's not to say Kings Canyon's bad, but I think World's Edge is very special. It's like an incredible map, really, truly, like hats off to the developers, specifically for competitive play, because it's perfectly segmented, like you were saying. There's a really good amount of defensible positions throughout, which is how competitive games, they kind of need that. And there's a good amount of looting options for 20 teams to drop in and all have a place to start and not feel incredibly stressed out.
Right.
So yeah.
It's just so funny to me because when World's Edge first came out, I just cannot get over how many tweets I saw from people who are like, "I hate the new map. Bring back Kings Canyon."
Oh
But it's so
yeah.
funny. It's like every time they change the Facebook timeline, people will like
Hmm.
complain about it for days, and then they're like the people who are like a month
Mhm.
later, like using it for everything.
Yeah, people who complained about it, they won't be quick to admit it, but they were wrong, and they realized it, especially when they brought back Kings Canyon, how good World's Edge was.
I mean, I
Those
liked it
Insta whiners were they didn't know what they were talking
I
about, and
liked
they
it because
realized
I
it.
think of the reasons that you were playing because I would just get shotgunned so quickly because there just wasn't as many places to pay, like, take cover or whatever if you're not that style of player. And I remember that, like, if I look between, what is it? I guess it must have been season 2 and season 3. I think my win rate actually went up a lot because I was playing more strategically because you could really do that. You weren't just like spam bullets because on the
Mhm.
smaller map, there's just more choke points, things like that.
Yeah,
And
it's beautiful for strategic play. Like the big brains prevail on World's Edge a lot of the time when if you're trying really hard against other teams who are also trying really hard to survive.
Yeah.
Kings Canyon's fun for just jumping in, attacking people.
yeah, right.
You
Yeah.
can get in every fight really quickly.
Kings Canyon's always just going to feel like home, though.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would never want to see it gone. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's exciting to see all the changes they're going to make this season. The season starts officially on Tuesday, so we'll be able to jump in and see what all these big map changes are going to be like. We won't be able to unlock that first hunt until the following Tuesday, right?
Mhm.
So we'll have to collect our treasure throughout this week. You need to make sure you get at least 5 in this first week if you want to see that first hunt, the Broken Skull. Is that what it was?
What was it? The broken.
Broken
It was the
Ghost.
broken ghost.
The Broken Ghost.
The
So
Broken
if
Ghost.
you want to see the Broken Ghost next Tuesday, you need to log in for at least 5 days and get that treasure in this first week. So yeah, we're really excited to check it out this Tuesday. Do you guys want to do a quick recap on season 4 and talk about what we liked, what we want to see change, that kind of stuff?
I mean, I can from my perspective, I thought it was because the split was mid-season when they like broke up Capital and stuff, right? I thought that was cool and interesting in a way to keep it kind of fresh and different. I really enjoyed. I'm glad that they buff Revenant. I still, like I said, haven't used them that much, but I have a
And
friend that I
Bloodhound.
play with who has. So yeah. Oh, the Bloodhound buff was huge.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot more people are using Bloodhound now. I feel like in almost every game, like I don't want to say almost every team has one, but I just feel like I see it's the scariest thing when you suddenly get scanned and you're like, oh no, they know where I am. But that was really good buff.
Oh, it feels like that scan is infinite now. It feels like they can scan me from a mile away. Andrea, has Bloodhound seen any more pro play at all since getting buffed?
None. But I will say you'll see a lot of pros select him in their casual plays way more. He's not, or I mean, Bloodhound, they're not like as memeable, I guess.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. And now it's just kind of like a character that isn't as strong, but still like is viable for obviously finding people quickly and doing this or that. I still think Bloodhound's heirloom is one of the coolest. The animations are awesome. I love it. But yeah, I haven't seen any in pro, nothing. But I have seen one Alliance in Europe is using Caustic very, very effectively.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I love me some Caustic. I was not a fan of Caustic early on, but I have grown. I think maybe it's different in maps too. I mean, I think in like you would usually just get Caustic and drop Bunker and be slower than everyone else, and it felt slower even if the character wasn't actually slower. Now that you've adjusted to the game, and like the canisters, this was like an early change, but they do more damage, and you can be strategic with how you play him. It ends up being really like a fun, scary character in a lot of ways.
He's
Like...
frustrating to play against, at least. The way Alliance plays with Caustic is incredibly aggressive. They'll push into buildings by throwing Caustic canisters forward over and over and popping them and taking territory that way. It's incredibly cool to see how Alliances use Caustic, and I can tell you the other EU teams do not like playing against Alliance for that reason.
Where did you all get on your battle pass? Did you finish?
110. Again, I switched from Xbox to PC halfway through the season. So not halfway. I mean, I was doing like a little bit of both. But for me to get to 110 on one, and I think I'm like level 60 on the Xbox One.
Wow.
Impressive.
Shows how much time I put into this game to still be a potato.
Yeah, congrats. It's awesome. I
Yeah.
think I'm at 103. I essentially at the second split, I just stopped playing Apex, not because I didn't like it. I just kind of took a break, but I'm definitely planning on coming back. I also want to finish the battle pass. Can I get 7 levels in a couple of days? Is that possible?
Well, I think we're still in double XP, or did that end today? This whole weekend was
I
double
don't know.
XP.
Ooh.
Yeah. Well, you've got till the end of the day.
I may as well try, right? Is 7 levels attainable? I don't know how fast they move. It's been a while.
Playing
But-
after this, you may be able to, if
totally-
you wanted, I don't know.
Because of the way that XP level, because it increases throughout the week. So those first 5 levels are really quick. And then after that, it slows down. So depending on how many you've already earned this week, you can definitely get 7.
I think if you played a bunch, you could do it. Especially if you still have like ones that like missions that haven't been completed, challenges. Those will like push you forward really fast.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I don't have like a lot of those
If
because
it's
I never
only
look at them.
7, If you grind, because I think I can get like 5 in one day sometimes.
So
Okay.
I didn't play until about week 7 or 8, just because I was building a new computer, and I had a lot of people with Apex have this package loss issue, and it affected me, and there was like no way to overcome it. But I would constantly just have this little icon on the screen of like kind of like the copy file symbol, but it means packet loss, and all the other characters, my teammates and enemies, would just sort of bounce around the screen. And there was nothing I could do to fix it, but
That's
besides-
frustrating to play against.
yeah, I finally got a whole new computer. And so I started around, I think it was week 7 or 8, and I managed to get my battle pass up to 60. But what I found was with those weekly challenges, I could go back and do all of them. However, every week has a challenge that's like land in this specific place, open containers here, kill a certain number of people here. Everything every week is completed except for those. Those are the only ones I haven't done, because they are just, unless you, I've played a ton, and unless you are specifically trying to land here and open containers here and get kills here, it's not something that just happens. I think it's a myth.
Yeah.
I think it's a myth to say, like, if you play enough, you'll end up in these places and whatever. Like, I played a ton, and those are the only objectives I didn't finish. I don't like those. I wish they, like, from the first time they added those in season 2, I think, I hated them. And I really wish they would stop doing those specific location-based
I tend to
objectives.
agree, because I definitely have not been completing all those, and I played enough to get to 103 without ever trying to do specific objectives ever.
Yeah.
And I still, without a doubt, did not just run into them and do them all, despite playing ridiculous hours. So
Yeah. Whitney, do those bother you at all?
To say, just like it's I have one in mind, and it's not one of the long ones, but I have one that's like get like 20 knockdowns with the Sentinel, and I'm just like, you are asking me to do 2 things that are lucky if I can do either one of those on like a great day. You know what I mean? I like the Sentinel, but I just think that the speed is too low for me, and you basically have to like get like two shots off if that's all you're using from a distance to get like a knockdown. And then I don't know if a kill counts as a knockdown. So like if it's somebody who's already low anyway and they don't have their teammates alive, I'm just like, yeah, no thanks. So that's my 0. But as far as the multi-step one, I mean, again, they just like have to find some way to make it a little bit more challenging to the people who do play all the time,
Right.
I guess. But it does sort of starts to feel grindy. I'm not going to call it any other games that have multi-step quests that are very, very grindy.
Right.
But you may or may not have played one with me a few times.
I just am never gonna play Apex though. I'm never like when I get with my friends, I don't want to be like, hey, can we land at Harvester? I have to open 3 containers. Like that's just that sucks. I'm not gonna do that.
yeah, it's not like a rewarding quest to complete. Like, oh yes, like
Yeah.
I got my 3 containers at Harvester. Like I accolished something. I feel good about it.
Now I move on to step 2 of 4 to earn 1 battle pass level. Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, those will be back in season 5, and I'll keep complaining about them every week. But
Look forward to it.
look forward to that. Otherwise, the stuff from the trailers that we saw for the new battle pass looks awesome. I love those skins are so much more than just recolors. new hairstyles and stuff like that is really cool. I would love to see better cosmetic rewards on the battle pass, because a lot of times I feel like we're grinding that battle pass for a very small number of things that are worth grinding.
Yeah, that we
for.
Actually want.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to seeing some cool stuff on the battle pass.
Yeah, me too.
Other than that, I think that season 4 had a lot of cool stuff. I thought the blood hunt thing was great. I think that the armor thing that they're doing right now, or it may have just ended, with you start with pistol and armor, and then it goes up to a blue armor, and then
I think it's still going on. It goes up into season 5. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think it's the Evo right now.
Super cool though. Really
Yeah.
cool that they're
Shield.
doing.
Yeah. I hope that they continue to do stuff like that to help break up the season a little bit. Stuff's really cool.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with the season, and competitive's never been in a better spot. Honestly, the tournaments are awesome, even if people aren't paying attention to them as much. It's so fun to watch competitive play. So yeah, I thought the season was great.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a big week for, obviously because of the launch. I expect we're gonna see a lot of it streaming. It'll probably be at the top of Twitch for most of this week. So yeah, exciting. Is there anything else you want to say about season 5 or season 4?
I mean, I'll be streaming it.
Yeah.
I'll be streaming for the gamer. I'm hoping that this is what Finn chooses to stream on Tuesday, which is
be live on Tuesday when it drops.
So if anybody is listening or watching and doesn't know about our streams, we stream on the Gamer Facebook gaming page. If you look at Facebook gaming, if you have the app, or if you just are on Facebook and you search for the Gamer, we are streaming every single day of the week now, right? Between the three of us and Sam, I think we've got just about every day covered. So look for our streams there. And then you two also have your own streams. Do you want to plug those?
Sure, yeah. I stream at Finn TTV. It's kind of redundant, but the TTV's in there just because Finn was already taken. Finn is spelled PHIN, and then TTV. So yeah, I stream pretty regularly, but it sort of depends. But for the most part, in the evenings in Central Time, I'm on after dinner. So.
And I am lumbago. It's a joke on my spine being a little bit crooked, but also a joke from Red Dead Redemption 2 when the uncle would always be like, I can't help, I got lumbago. Yeah, I've been streaming a lot more lately. Lumbago is spelled like BA3GO. It was supposed to be like Bay, like BAE before anyone else, but LUMBA3 go. And I've been streaming. I'm trying to get a more consistent schedule, but I want to do Friday, Sunday, and Tuesday. So
awesome.
Hopefully that'll be good.
And then I'm sure any day this week that you pull up our page, one of us will be, probably all three of us together will be playing the new season. Yeah, and that's it. So I appreciate you guys checking out our first sort of special preview episode of the podcast. We'll be back every Wednesday with a new episode throughout the week so that we can talk about those hunts and all the new stuff that comes along. And hopefully you guys like it, and we'll keep going. So see you next time. Thank you, Andrew and Whitney.
Of course. Happy to be here.